In Business News.
Με απόλυτη επιτυχία πραγματοποιήθηκε για έκτη συνεχή χρονιά το Limassol Economic Forum, το μεγαλύτερο οικονομικό φόρουμ που διοργανώνεται στην Κύπρο. Κατά τη διάρκεια του συνεδρίου συζητήθηκαν τα κύρια ζητήματα της διεθνούς και ευρωπαϊκής οικονομίας από πολιτικούς, ακαδημαϊκούς, επιχειρηματικούς ηγέτες και διεθνού κύρους οικονομολόγους. Ο Λόρδος Λαμόντ, πρώην Υπουργός Οικονομικών και μέλος του Υπουργικού Συμβουλίου της Μάργκαρετ Θάτσερ και του Τζον Μέιτζορ, μίλησε στο φόρουμ σχετικά με τις πρόσφατες αλλά και τις μελλοντικές εξελίξεις στη διεθνή οικονομία και την Ευρωζώνη.
Well, we've lived through a period of quite high inflation in the 80s and 90s, and we tend to think of that as normal. But in fact, when you go back into the 19th century and you look at the beginning of the 20th century, there were periods of very low inflation and very low interest rates. And I think now it is quite possible that we're going back to a period of very low interest rates permanently and very low inflation, perhaps even negative inflation for the normal, and that in a sense you can call it the old normal because it was normal in the 19th century, in the early 20th century, or you can call it the new normal because we haven't seen it for 50-60 years.
Στο έκτο Limassol Economic Forum βρέθηκε και ο επικεφαλής ανταποκριτής συντάκτης για ευρωπαϊκά θέματα, δημοσιογράφος, συγγραφέας και παρουσιαστής του BBC στο Ηνωμένο Βασίλειο, Gavin Hewitt, ο οποίος μίλησε σχετικά με την ανεργία και τη μετανάστευση.
Well, it's clear at the moment, this is a very testing time for Europe, and there have been a succession of crises. There was the financial crisis in 2008, that morphed into the Eurozone crisis, which is nothing like as acute as it was, but it hasn't totally been settled. And then in recent times we've had the migration crisis, which has huge implications, both political and economic. And at the same time, in a number of countries, we've had the rise of Eurosceptic parties challenging the very idea of the European project. So this has been one of the most tumultuous periods for Europe.
Το φόρουμ πραγματοποιήθηκε χάρη στη χορηγία των εταιριών Ανδρέας Νοκλέους και ΣΥΑΔΕΠΕ, Barclays Bank και Deloitte.
It's an event that does not only have to do with Cyprus, it has to do with the region, with the EU as a whole and maybe the world. And the people who come here would like to brainstorm, get ideas and learn about the future tendencies, about the direction where the global economy is heading to. And of course there is also a focus on regional, political and economic matters.
I believe the Limassol Economic Forum has been established as the biggest economic forum which is happening in Cyprus the last years. Its reputation and its success track records are very important for us. Hence, as Barclays, these are the characteristics that we are looking when we are sponsoring these events. We hope that the event again will contribute to the global discussions around the economy, not only in Cyprus, but also in the Mediterranean region and in Europe in general.
It covers, it's, I would say, one of the events which is not dealing only with local issues, but is bringing to the Cypriot businessmen and the Cypriot professionals what is going on in the rest of the world, matters relating to Europe, matters relating to a number of countries, which are very important because we are operating in a globalized economy, and we should not be looking only at what's going on in our country.